Meet Gojo. This professional loser spends his nights playing with dolls instead of chasing actual girls. He's a certified basement dweller who's terrified of his own shadow until the school's top-tier baddie, Marin catches him in the act. Now, a 10/10 like Marin shouldn't even breathe the same air as this creep, but she's got a twisted hobby and needs a personal tailor. She invades his life, strips down and forces this pathetic simpy to work for her. Will his virgin heart explode? Or is he about to become the luckiest loser in anime? Our story kicks off with our MC, Wakana Gojo, staring at these Hina dolls his grandpa makes with his buddies. The kid gets so hooked that it becomes his life's passion. But life hits him fast. His peers start roasting him, calling his hobby weird because boys shouldn't play with dolls. Classic toxic school vibes. Gojo's room looks like a hoarder's paradise mixed with a sweatshop. First thing he sees when he wakes up? A doll's face. And yeah, he actually blushes. After a quick prayer at the family altar and some breakfast, his grandpa notices the dark circles under his eyes. The old man has been in the game for 48 years and straight up tells him, "Your clothes are fire, but your doll faces? Pure mid. Don't rush the process, just keep grinding." Then he drops the ultimate question. "You got any friends yet?" Gojo almost chokes on his rice. He tries to bait his grandpa, saying he's got a whole squad but they're always busy with clubs. Grandpa actually buys it and tells him to stop staring at dolls and go touch some juicy melons for once. On the way to school, Gojo realizes he's a total fraud. No friends, no life, some random dude daps him up and for a second you think he's got a bro, but nah, the guy just mistook him for someone else. Gojo is deep in his feels, thinking he's got nothing to talk about with normal people. They talk about TV shows and sports, while he's home talking to inanimate objects. Then, out of nowhere, a wild baddie appears. Marin Kitagawa comes flying through the air like Kratos just yeeted her. She doesn't land on his desk with her bazongas out though. She slams into the edge of his desk and screams in pain. Her friends, who apparently have god-tier strength to throw her like that, come over to apologize. Marin, being a total sweetheart, notices ink on Gojo's hand and starts touching him to make sure he's not hurt. Our MC is literally having a heart attack from the female contact and retreats like a ninja. Gojo gives us the lowdown on the opponent. Kitagawa is energetic, friendly, and always the main character of the room. They live in different universes. But then we get a flashback. Some average Discord mod enjoyer tried to rizz her up by mocking her anime keychains. Marin gave him the ultimate offensive side-eye and told him to get lost because he's lame as hell. Gojo hears this and feels a glimmer of hope. After school, Gojo stays behind to clean up because he's got zero social life. Marin walks in and realizes the other friends used Gojo to do their dirty work. She gives him a quick therapy session, telling him he needs to stand up for himself and stop being a doormat. A few days later, Gojo's sewing machine at home literally dies. He sneaks into the school's tailoring room, thinking he's safe because no one uses it. He starts talking to his favorite doll like a madman when suddenly, baddie alert. Marin walks in, Gojo panics, drops the doll, catches it with Homelander reflexes, and starts apologizing to it. Marin is terrified for a second, but then her eyes light up. "You can use a sewing machine?" Gojo explains the family business, and Marin, the most popular girl in school, actually thinks his hobby is cool. She asks to see the doll, and Gojo is officially rizzed by her kindness. But then, she starts stripping. Gojo does a 180-degree turn on his knees, screaming internally. Turns out, Marin is a secret nerd who tried to make a cosplay outfit, but it looks like a pile of rags. Gojo, the absolute savage, starts roasting her sewing skills. "How can you be this bad at sewing?" Marin starts crying, and Gojo realizes he went too far. She explains that she loves this character so much but has no skills and no machine at home. Then, she gets down on her knees, grabs his hand and begs, "Gojo, please make my cosplay outfit." Gojo has a literal internal ascension moment and finally agrees. He's never made clothes for a human before, but he's gonna give it his all. Marin starts jumping around like a kid on sugar, and the grind begins. Our MC is totally lost when this total baddie starts showing off the character she wants to cosplay. He's never even heard of her, and as she breaks down the lore, he's having an internal meltdown. Nobody has ever paid this much attention to him before, so he's panicking. He drops the ultimate question. Is this an eroge? She confirms it, and when he asks about age ratings, he's shocked that girls play these two. She just shrugs. Guys and girls can like the same stuff. This single line gives our MC a massive motivation boost. He's been shamed for his hobbies his whole life, and now it's go time. He dives into research while she hands him a beginner sewing guide. He's hyped. It's got everything, even how to run a sewing machine. They both realize, wait, if she had this manual, why couldn't she do it herself? He wants to go get supplies, but his riz is non-existent. He tries to push it to the weekend to avoid being a bother. At home, his grandpa is confused why he's in bed so early and mentions a new sewing machine, MC is lying there daydreaming about the baddie when his phone blows up. It's her. She couldn't wait until Monday. She's obsessed with becoming Shizuku. She Googled him, found his place, and is literally storming into his house. Uninvited, she walks straight into his room and starts a fashion show. MC is having a full-blown mental collapse. No one has ever been in his room, and now the hottest girl in school, Kitagawa, is standing there. He's losing his mind, trying not to look like a total loser. Time to get to work. During the measurements, he tries to dodge the Riz opportunity, but she calls him out. Doesn't he want to do this? The manual says he needs to measure her lingerie, so she just starts stripping. When she reveals the swimsuit and the milk monsters, he's acting like the ultimate beta. He's screaming at her not to touch him. He moves to her head, she closes her eyes to help him out, and he's sweating bullets trying not to make physical contact. Every time she opens her eyes, he jumps back like a jump-scared gamer. When he tries to measure her neck, he's totally distracted by her gaze. He finally asks, "Aren't you embarrassed?" She says that to be Shizuku, she has to commit 100%. That clicks for him. If he treats this like a job, he stops being a loser. He puts on the headband, gets in the zone, and stops overthinking. Now, for the foot fetish fans, we're measuring her feet. He wants to buy shoes, but she says they never fit right. She puts her foot on his lap and tells him to stop apologizing and just do his job. Then comes the chest measurement. She has to lean in, and he almost faceplants into her cleavage. He's shaking, touching a girl for the first time in his life and nearly passing out. They finish, but she asks for the gap measurement between her milk monsters for a perfect fit. He's stiff as a board, so she laughs at him and measures it herself. 20 centimeters. He records it, totally panicked, and moves on to the inseam measurement near her peach. She blushes, and he, the absolute oblivious king, thinks it's just hot in the room and turns on the AC. That night, while he's grinding through the game lore, his grandpa walks in. The room is glowing pink, weird noises are coming from the PC, and the MC is acting completely chill. Grandpa is awkward, but just says, "I guess you're at that age now." He leaves, and our boy goes right back to taking serious notes on how to do it from behind. Is he a genius or a complete idiot? Next day starts with our MC having some down bad dreams about his favorite baddie. He wakes up with a towering boner and, being the absolute creep he is, asks his Hina doll to look away while he handles business. After the post-nut clarity hits, he's drowning in guilt, wondering how he can even look her in the eye. At school, it's the same story. The halls are buzzing because the school's top-tier baddie is walking through and everyone is simping. Meanwhile, our MC is sweating bullets because just 2 days ago, this same girl was stripping in his room. Suddenly, she approaches him in front of everyone. She's fishing for compliments about her new hair extensions. But before he can even stutter a word, her popular girl squad spawns in. One of them tells her to leave the poor guy alone because he looks lost. But our baddie isn't having it. She drops her hand on his shoulder, pulls him close, and MC's elbow grazes the mommy milkers. He almost ascends to heaven right there. He can't believe she's acting this bold in public while the background characters whisper that she must have some hidden reason for hanging out with a loser like him. Later in class, the baddie wants to hang out after school, but MC pulls the classic "I have plans" card. Bro, we all know you're going home to talk to a doll, but being this scared of a woman is a new level of no game. He literally starts ghosting her for days, hiding around corners like a budget ninja just to avoid eye contact. But you can't run from a baddie forever. She catches him leaving school and suggests a shopping trip for her cosplay. Even though he's dying to see the materials, our professional virgin tries to sprint away. He hides behind a wall like a creep, only for her to teleport right next to him. She calls him out for being rude, but MC tries to be noble, saying people will talk if they see them together. She drops some high-level riz, joking that if people think they're dating, maybe they should just start. Emotional damage. Before he can recover, she grabs his hand and drags him to the mall. At the store, MC finally shows off his skills, presenting 3-sided sketches of the outfit. The baddie is impressed, but then MC hits a wall. He's broke as hell. Luckily, our girl has the looks and the bags, so she covers the costs. While picking out wigs, MC goes full nerd mode, explaining that the character's hair has a purple tint under the light. He realizes she doesn't pay attention to details at all. She just wants to look cute. Then comes the final boss of the shopping trip, the garter belt section. MC is panicking, thinking people will judge them, but she shuts him down by saying they just look like a regular couple. She tries it on and asks if she should go for something even sexier. Our boy is gulping like his life depends on it, begging her to stop teasing him. They grab some food and the conversation gets sus real fast. They start talking about the training in the game MC studied, and they're talking so loudly about finishing too fast that the people in line are looking at them like they're absolute degenerates. As they walk home, they have a deep moment on the bridge. She thanks him for actually playing the game she likes, saying he makes her happy. She offers him a bite of her rice bowl, but MC, terrified of an indirect kiss, freezes up like a broken NPC. She laughs, asks if he thinks she's a pig for eating so much, and then drops the bomb. The cosplay event is in 2 weeks. Before he can process the deadline, she sprints for her train, leaving our MC alone with his thoughts and a very stressed out brain. Our MC suddenly realizes that 2 weeks is a death sentence. Making clothes for dolls is one thing, but a full-scale cosplay for a human? That's some final boss level difficulty. If he fails, he lets Kitagawa down, so he starts mapping out the insane grind ahead. Back home, Grandpa is worried about the late hour, but when he hears MC was out shopping with a girlfriend, his eyes light up like he just won the lottery. He's thinking MC is finally making moves. What you buy? A book? A CD? Suddenly, some high-quality stockings fall out of the bag. Grandpa is so shook he literally collapses and ends up in the hospital. Luckily, he's fine. Just a minor scare. Now we enter the survival arc. It's a montage of studying, sewing, and zero sleep. Even during the exams, our boy is at his desk plotting his next move. Total alpha grind mindset. When the baddie tries to visit later, the house is a total dump. Instant ramen cups everywhere, and a mountain of laundry. MC wakes up feeling like a zombie, hitting an existential crisis. He starts doubting if he can ever succeed as Grandpa. But then, he gets a flashback. Grandpa makes dolls to bring smiles to people. He remembers the joy he gave Kitagawa and enters full focus mode. He finishes the fit at dawn, texts her, "It's done," and passes out. But here's the kicker. When they meet, she tells him the event wasn't even a big deal. She thought he was rushing home to study or help his grandpa, not killing himself over the dress. She starts crying, feeling guilty for not noticing, and it turns into a total apology fest. To make it worth it, MC suggests a fitting. Even though he's running on 0% battery, he's a straight Sigma and doesn't need sleep. He styles her hair and shows her how to use falsies to change her eye shape. When he gives her a rare smile, she's officially rizzed up. She even shaves her eyebrows to fully commit to the character. The final reveal? The toy man absolutely cooked. The costume is fire. She asks if she looks like Shizuku, and MC confirms she's the perfect reflection of the character. The fit check is on. Our MC is making sure the measurements are 1-1. Kitagawa struggles a bit to lift her arms, but the most important part? The milkers are perfectly framed. The baddie is hyped and demands a photo shoot. Gojo, being a perfectionist, tells her she's still giving off too much Marin energy and needs to lock in and pose like the character. After the shoot, she's ready to dump the pics on the gram and asks Gojo to join her at the cosplay event the next day. And of course, they go. It's a sea of geeks, cosplayers, and our MC, who is absolutely terrified by the sheer amount of women there. Everyone is staring, and Kitagawa thinks it's because of the fire outfit, while Gojo is just standing there in his NPC home clothes. She jokes that people are probably just jealous of her top-tier Milky holder. It gets too crowded, so they head upstairs to find the photographers. Suddenly, a wild Discord mod appears and asks for a pic. Before they know it, a massive line forms just to see our baddie. MC watches from the sidelines, seeing guys dressed as girls and vice versa, amazed by how free everyone is. But then, a realization hits him like a truck. Now that the dirty work is done, his time with Kitagawa might be over. He never had real friends, so this was all new to him. He catches her eye across the crowd, and she runs to him like a scene straight out of a rom-com. Turns out she was just worried he dipped. She complains that it's getting spicy hot inside the costume and she's about to burst out of the seams. They find a spot on the stairs to cool down. Gojo goes into medic mode and looks up how to treat heat stroke. While he's wiping her back, she starts making some interesting noises, asking him to go lower because she's soaking wet under the skirt too. Thankfully, she's wearing safety shorts, so MC's heart stays in his chest. They head back for one last shot. Suddenly, a gust of wind pulls a Marilyn Monroe and lifts her skirt, revealing the 17 inches tattoo on her thigh, the body count mark for the character. The crowd freezes. The photographer offers to delete it, but our baddie says, "Keep it, it's authentic." On the train ride home, she asks about the next cosplay. MC thought she only had one waifu, but turns out she has over 50 on her list. For him, this is the perfect excuse to keep the situationship going. He starts planning to buy a mannequin to make the grind easier, but he's running on empty. Right before he passes out, he mutters that she looked truly beautiful. Kitagawa knows he only uses that word for things he finds legendary. MC falls asleep, leaving her absolutely riz-mushed and blushing like crazy. Next up, we're back at the MC's crib, where our duo is tackling their first ever wig-washing mission, following the manual like it's a holy scripture. Gojo also realizes they gotta wash the costume too. Nobody wants sweat stains ruining the masterpiece. Meanwhile, we cut to Grandpa driving back with the cousin. He explains his legendary fall, claiming those female garments straight up knocked him out. The cousin thinks MC is just at that age where he's experimenting, and Grandpa accepts that this is just how the youth rolls these days. When they get home and Grandpa sees MC and the baddie together again, he nearly glitches out. He apologizes to Marin for the awkward vibes, and Gojo quickly swears they aren't doing anything lewd. Grandpa's like, yeah, I figured. He actually praises the outfit, leading to a deep talk about the difference between sewing for dolls versus humans. Right then, Marin realizes she's caught major feelings for our boy Gojo. She tries to stay cool, but her stomach betrays her with a loud-ass growl. Grandpa invites her to stay for dinner, and she's blown away by Gojo's kitchen skills. Turns out they're both living that independent life. Gojo's parents are gone, and Marin's mom passed away while her dad is always out grinding for work. Grandpa gets worried about her health, especially when she shows a pic of her typical meal: rice with natto and sausages. It looks like absolute trash, but she swears by her yogurt and milk diet. Grandpa's not having it and officially invites her to become a regular at their dinner table. Gojo walks her to the station. It's a total romance anime moment: awkward staring, butterflies, and a quick goodbye. On the train, Marin is freaking out, wondering why she's so tense around him, and even starts imagining some not-so-innocent scenarios. Fast forward to a rainy day. Gojo gets home, and Grandpa tells him his friend is here. She was soaked, so he sent her to take a bath. Gojo's brain short-circuits because Marin is at work. He thinks a scammer just pulled a long-lost relative move on his grandpa. He rushes to the bathroom and finds a girl who looks like a literal child. She slips, he sees way too much, and things get 100% awkward. Enter Juju, a top-tier cosplayer and Marin's literal idol. She tracked Gojo down because she saw Marin's fire outfit and knew he was the mastermind. Gojo, being an absolute bot, thinks she's there for doll clothes at first. Juju isn't playing around. She threatens to report him to the police for the bathroom incident unless he sews her a black lily costume. When Marin shows up, she absolutely loses it. Seeing the goddess of cosplay in her house is like winning the lottery. Juju plays hard to get, acting like she only cares about Gojo's skills and not Marin's existence. They end up swapping numbers for materials, and Juju drops a comment asking if they're dating, making both of them turn bright red. Marin tries to shoot her shot for a collab photoshoot, but Juju, being the Ice Queen, hits her with a cold no. Juju drops a truth bomb. She only cosplays for her own satisfaction and isn't looking for teammates. She's planning to rent a professional studio for her next shoot, and Marin, being the fangirl she is, begs to join and offers to split the bill. RMC puts his hand up to pay too, knowing Marin is literally helpless when it comes to putting on fake lashes. Juju finally gives in, saying this is a one-time only exception. To get the vibe right, Gojo needs to binge the anime Juju is cosplaying. It's an old-school series that's hard to find, but our baddie Marin has the DVD box set ready. She tells him it's a quick watch, only 126 episodes. MC is absolutely shook by the grind ahead. Grandpa gives him the green light to skip shop duty and notes that Gojo's doll-making skills are evolving. His lines are getting softer and more detailed, all thanks to his experience with cosplay outfits. Gojo arrives at Marin's place, and she opens the door looking like she just rolled out of bed. Nightgown on, milkers nearly on display. She realizes she's not wearing her contacts, slams the door in his face, and re-emerges a minute later, fully loaded. MC hands over some snacks and wants to grab the DVDs and dip before he has a heart attack, but she convinces him to stay for a marathon. Once he sees her room, a total otaku heaven covered in posters, his social anxiety finally takes a hike. As they dive into the plot, Marin suddenly has a eureka moment. This is a date. No grandpa, no chaperones, just the two of them. She starts malfunctioning internally, trying to keep her cool while thinking about how cozy home dates are. Then, her stomach does a loud-ass growl. Gojo offers to run to the store, but she insists on cooking. Remembering her previous dishes, Gojo tries to stop her, but she's already in the apron aiming for a cute heart-shaped omelet. The result? It looks like a total mess. Marin is depressed, blaming her lack of eggs, but our MC is a certified king. He eats the whole thing and genuinely praises her seasoning. She's over the moon. After a tear-filled finale of the anime, we cut back to Gojo's workshop where he's interviewing Juju about her techniques. He's fascinated by how she uses special tape to enlarge her eyes, even if it makes blinking a struggle. Finally, Gojo tells Marin that Juju's younger sister Shinju is a pro behind the camera and is going to give them a photography lesson. Marin immediately joins the squad. When the four of them meet up, it turns out Shinju is even more shy and awkward than our MC, despite being way taller and looking way more mature than her older sister Juju. Shinju, the little sister, pulled up with her dad's camera. Turns out the gear is super beginner-friendly. No need to swap lenses or do any pro-level adjustments. Gojo is fascinated, asking how much better it is than a regular smartphone. While Marin goes on a rampage taking random pics of literally everything, Gojo decides to check the price of a basic DSLR online. He sees the price tags and instantly realizes his wallet is about to get murdered. To make sure they don't waste their bread, the squad decides to scout the studio location first. The location? A straight-up abandoned hospital. Real horror movie vibes. Juju looks absolutely terrified, but she's trying to hold it together. Marin is worried it'll be too dark, but they've got a flash, so they're good to go. Still, the Ice Queen of cosplay looks like she's about to have a mental breakdown. Turns out she's not as brave as she looks. Back at school, it's midterm season again, and the stress is real. Marin decides she's had enough and suggests a spontaneous trip to the beach. They time it perfectly. The season hasn't started yet, so they've got the whole place to themselves. Gojo thinks this is more cosplay research, but our baddie just wants some one quality time with her favorite MC. They're chilling on a blanket, snacking and vibing. When Marin decides to hit the water, she says she's just gonna dip her toes since she forgot her bikini, and she drags Gojo in with her. That's when she drops the line, "Let's go somewhere, just the two of us." She's practically ascending to heaven, thinking about spending the entire summer by his side. Gojo is standing there staring at the ocean like he's the MC of some deep philosophical movie until he trips over some seaweed like a total bot and faceplants straight into the water. The duo heads back to Gojo's place, and our baddie Marin decides to go full chaos mode. She flashes him what's under her skirt, and MC's soul almost leaves his body. Turns out, it's just the swimsuit they were talking about. She calls him out for ghosting her. She sent him a spicy soft pic earlier, but he didn't even reply. Probably because he was too busy extracting some protein shake from his 6-inch shaker after seeing those notifications. Marin is flexing the fit, and Gojo is out here begging for some privacy. She knows exactly what's up. The little soldier is standing at attention. She's feeling herself apologizing for raising his blood pressure, but she knows she raised more than just that. Before letting him breathe, she starts stripping right in front of him, telling him to take a good look at the milkers, even if she's rocking a mid-tier bra. Next, it's time for the drop. Juju picks up her costume. She's hyped because the fit is 1-1. Then they get Marin suited up, and she starts tweaking because the quality is just that insane. Finally, the squad hits the abandoned hospital for the shoot. Marin asks Juju for a duo pic, and when the Ice Queen says yes, our baddie is practically ascending to heaven. But wait, there's a plot twist. Gojo walks in with Shinju, and she's not just spectating. Turns out the little sister wanted a piece of the action too, and with Gojo's help, she's fully cosplayed as one of the characters. She looks absolutely cracked. Juju and Marin are stunned. Everyone is looking top tier. If MC keeps cooking like this, he's gonna have a full-blown harem before the season ends. The photo shoot is still going strong. Everyone is vibing with their cosplays while our boy Gojo watches from the sidelines like a proud dad. At one point, Juju and Marin strike a pretty spicy pose, and our baddie struggles to keep a straight face. But the real chaos happens when Shinju has a wardrobe malfunction. Her milkers decide to pull a great escape from Alcatraz and almost blast through the costume. Summer break finally hits, and Gojo is loving it. He's got all the time in the world to paint doll faces and grind on Kitagawa's next fit. Suddenly, Marin spawns at his house looking like she got roasted in the sun. Turns out, it's not a sunburn. It's just body foundation she bought for her next character. She hops in the shower, and since she didn't bring any spare clothes like a total airhead, Gojo has to lend her his gym clothes. Seeing his baddie rocking his oversized PE gear gives our MC some seriously sus thoughts. Marin shows off her new haul, and Gojo ends up in the perfect POV to admire the view. Later, they hit the mall to get Gojo some fresh threads, because he's been feeling like an NPC lately. Marin goes full stylist mode. While he's trying stuff on, some random dude nearby whispers about how hot the baddie is and how there's no way she's with a loser like Gojo. Our MC feels like a total flop in everything, but Marin is obsessed with every look. They end the shopping trip with some ramen, pure wholesome vibes, even though they didn't actually buy anything. But then, Gojo drops a nuclear bomb. He tells her he can't help with her next cosplay. The vibe goes from 100 to 0 real quick. Marin is devastated, begging for an explanation and asking what she did wrong. Gojo's reason? He realized that once she puts that specific outfit on, her assets are going to be way too visible. Marin is stunned. She thought it was a serious drama, but Gojo was just being a low-key pervert. To fix the mood, she suggests that since he worked so hard, she'll at least wear it for him at home. Our duo starts the day at a manga cafe for some peak relaxation. They've even got room service, so the vibes are immaculate. Marin is yapping away about her favorite manga titles as usual. After they head out, they both agree that being lazy was top tier, and she asks Gojo to help her track down a bookstore. Fast forward to Gojo getting home. Grandpa notices his new drip, and Gojo mentions he actually liked the outfit so much he bought it twice. But then, a cold shiver runs down his spine as we flash back to the previous day when things got spicy. Why? Because they ended up at a love hotel. Marin claims she only picked this spot because the lighting is perfect for photography. Our boy is a certified normie, so he starts spiraling, saying, "They're too young for this." But Marin is like, "We already paid the entrance fee, so we're not leaving until we get the shot." She heads to the bathroom to change, even suggesting a joint bath in the huge tub, but Gojo's Riz levels are at absolute 0, so he just stays behind sweating. To calm his nerves, he turns on the TV, but it's straight up adult content from the jump. He struggles for his life not to watch, but then Marin spawns out of the bathroom in full cosplay. She's hyping him up as always, saying his work is world-class. Then, she randomly mentions she heard that keeping a condom in your wallet makes you rich and wants to test the theory. Gojo is officially fighting for his soul. They start the shoot, and Gojo even brought props to make it look official. Eventually, they end up in a high-voltage position with Marin sitting right on top of him. Suddenly, they hear moans coming through the walls from the next room. Gojo panics, grabs her by the waist to get her off him, she lets out a little moan herself, and they tumble into a position that would make a monk blush. Just as the tension hits 100%, the hotel phone rings. Time's up. Plan failed. In the restroom, Marin is having a total emotional meltdown, feeling like they basically just did it. They awkwardly pass another couple in the elevator and do the walk of shame out of the hotel. Our MC is back in his room, locked in and painting doll faces, when he suddenly hears fireworks exploding outside. He tries to ignore it, but one look at his phone sends him into a total shock. Meanwhile, we cut to our baddie Marin's room. She's depressed because her dad bailed on her again and won't be taking her to the festival. Gojo accidentally mentions there was a show yesterday too, and Marin goes nuclear because he didn't invite her. Gojo's defense? "I thought you were busy studying for retakes." We also find out how she funds her expensive lifestyle. She's been grinding as a model, taking every gig possible just to buy that high-end DSLR. Gojo almost has a stroke when he sees the price tag. Later that night, they decide to watch a horror movie. Gojo is terrified from the start, and Marin tries to act tough, telling him it's just a movie. Fast forward 10 minutes and she's the one losing her mind. Why? Because he wants to rewind to the scary parts just to analyze how the ghost's clothes are stitched. Man's got his priorities straight while the baddie is dying of fear. Marin realizes she left her math homework at school, so they take a late-night trip to grab it. They also hit the pool, where Marin jumps into the deep end only to casually mention she can't actually swim, but she's an expert at drowning. Finally, we find out what that mystery text was. Marin actually finished her homework, so the festival date is on. She shows up in a stunning yukata and immediately deploys the Riz, asking Gojo if his little soldier enjoyed the view of her neck. Obviously it did. MC is fighting for his life. They spend the night inhaling festival food until the fireworks start. It's a peak cinematic moment, totally romantic and fleeting, until Marin ruins the vibe by sticking out her tongue, which is stained bright blue from shaved ice. But the night takes a toll. Her feet are destroyed by the traditional sandals. Gojo pulls the ultimate pro move and gives her a piggyback ride home. They head off together talking about their plans for next year, still acting like they aren't the most obvious couple in anime history.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.